I'm back. It's the next day. It's the next day. Last night, I played Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for the first time. I would like to do Lost Levels. Let's do Lost Levels, and then we can get right back into No Return. It sounds like a ton of fun. Saying spoilers, yeah, I already know all this. Jefferson Party. So it does not have dialogue, only placeholder lines shown as subtitles. Okay. Okay. That's so weird with that dialogue.
Originally, this level was going to transition us to farm. We would go all the way through to the dance, where Ellie and Dina share their first kiss. Then we would play through farm, and when Ellie plays the guitar at night, she would remember the Seth incident. So, the opening for this was a little tricky. We needed it to match at least a little what you might expect emotionally coming from prior beats, because we were already purposefully disorienting you in time and space. Remember, you just came from this huge fight. To jump straight into it would have been a little too jarring. After some back and forth, we rooted it in Ellie's nerves, calling back to her hands shaking in the theater. But this time, for a much more innocuous reason we'll find out later. She's nervous because she has a crush on Dina, who is the only reason why she's here at the dance.
Okay. What is this? Okay. Face painting. Oh no. So nothing really happened to her. No, I want to see. Yeah. You know what's interesting? Just occurred to me. When Dina finds out that Ellie's immune, and of course she doesn't believe it at first, Ellie tells her that the only people that know are Joel and Tommy, and now Dina. But she knew, too. Cat. So that's interesting.
It is not a festival without one of these throwing games. This one, of course, uses our throwable system where you're often chucking explosive things or stunning things, but for a more wholesome purpose, although some people take this game really seriously. A fun aspect of this is if you did well, you could win a toy here. Ellie would place it in her pocket. If you had done this, you'd find the toy with JJ, the baby, later back at the farm. When we cut this, the toy made it through anyway because it was so cute. It is the same one you see on the tractor at the farm. Ollie the elephant.
Oh, Ollie. Ah, that's cool. That's cool.
This is one of my favorite sections because I think that it achieves both the slice of life aspect of Jackson while also being a stark reminder of how dark the world that they live in really, really is. To attract attention and curiosity, one of the kids was supposed to make this adorable, messed up little clicker impression, and the others would giggle. We tried a version where if you got close enough, the kid might try and follow you a little before turning back. Since clickers are blind and move by echolocation, for this game of messed up tag, Ellie must close her eyes and listen for when the children give themselves away. The thought was that these kids are in relative safety. They still grow up with the dangers of clickers and runners, and all those lessons would embed themselves in the games that they play. When the festival got cut, they tried to preserve this moment and move it to the front of the game where the snowball fight is, as a tutorial. However, being in the headspace of a clicker doesn't really teach you how to deal with them. Eventually, it evolved, and they instead made the snowball fight, which was, I think, way more effective. For me, it's character illuminating that not only does Ellie know this game, she plays along. There's a familiarity with the kids that's really nice to see, especially because it's such a difference from the Ellie we see later, who has a sort of hollow normalcy that she's trying to get with JJ, but kind of fails.
That's really cool. Something that I noticed. This kid that's acting like a clicker, I think that's literally the same exact animation that a clicker would use. Just the way the like back arches and the lunge forward, that looks exactly like the clicker would look. Let me see what this does. Oh. Whoa. Whoa, little kid. Well, you walked right up to me. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Ooh, what's this? Was this the hammer game? Is that what this is? Yeah. Step aside, people. What did I do wrong? I'm confused. Yeah, let me go again. I only get one chance. Gotta go away and come back. Oh, I only get one chance? That sucks. I didn't know what to do. I started mashing the button, but... Ooh, what's this? Sit down. Okay. I assume you'd be like listening to the conversation and stuff. That's cool. It's over here.
There's a hidden spot at the back that was just a bit of fun. It was highlighting Jackson's normalcy with something we would find in a real world.
Oh.
In the back, you would find teenagers finding some alone time with each other in a dark corner of a party. It was rewarding the player for peeking into a hidden corner, but ultimately redirecting them back to the festival. We also had versions of them smoking weed here, despite Maria's consternation, probably having gotten it from Eugene.
Understandable. Alright, well, let's go in. Is this Maria? It is. Hey, Maria. Tommy. Tommy looks so serious. They just don't have facial animations. Is that it? That's probably the end of the level. Since inside would be, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Let's look at what's next. The Seattle sewers. They swept into the Seattle sewer system. Wait, but didn't that already happen? Okay.
Get off of me! Okay. Okay.
So that building I was in a
Seattle.
second ago, I was actually in yesterday, playing
hell am I?
as Abby. Okay, so it looks like I'll have to be fighting things. I can't switch my weapons though. Oh, wait, can't. Can I? Oh, okay, there it goes. It's just all glitched, I guess.
The ladder acts as an immediate goal for the player, but being able to climb out is not going to be so easy. To keep levels interesting and engaging, we alternate between positive and negative values the player experiences. Here, it's a positive to have found a ladder, but then a negative to discover it's not the solution. But then another positive to identify the next short-term goal of the doorway. By alternating between these opposing values, we give players what they expect, but not how they expect it.
So this ladder is not the way to go. It is not the way to go. Okay. So I need to go... You said doorway.
Okay. There's gotta be another way out.
And I see a thing right there. Yeah, I bet that hurts.
This level, internally known as Find Nora, was quite long in duration as we had to make Ellie traverse a far distance to the opposite side of downtown Seattle. The sewer section was originally longer than what we released the game with, approximately 10 minutes more. This was one of the few areas of the game that used water flow as part of a traversal puzzle. The player has to go upstream to use the current to get to the platform to reach the other side. We mostly cut this mechanic game wide, however it remained in essence in the section swimming to the aquarium as Ellie when you were avoiding the waves.
Because the sewer section originally was only like 5 minutes long. There was an optional place you could go, but you could skip it and just immediately leave. And then after that would be your first encounter with scars, seraphites. Ooh. There's something over there.
When players reach the doorway and enter into the room, they are faced with a dead end. The real reason for this dead end room is that on the reversal, when exiting back out of the doorway, players are faced with the route onwards. A pipe that they'd not been able to see when they were swept past it on the way in, and something that was hidden from view when on the side platforms. The intention here being that the only option is to go off the standard path in order to search for a way out.
I saw the rag glowing. That's what gave this away for me.
here.
I wish I could get rid of the tips and stuff, but I can't because I game things I haven't beaten the game yet. Wait, what'd that say? Oh.
Get me the hell out of here.
As we surface from the water and over the crest of the slope, we reveal what is further in this tunnel. A clicker that has sprouted and the fungus has grown on the sides of the pipe. It was great to see people who user tested this area becoming increasingly worried as we forced the player to squeeze past the fungus and inches away from the clicker's face, all the time not being sure whether the clicker might be alive or attack them. Although we aren't as cruel as to force a clicker attack in such close proximity, we do have a payoff for this moment. This clicker momentarily turned into Joel to show Ellie's PTSD from what happened to Joel at the start of the game. Ultimately, we decided to save this moment for the farm level, as it was more impactful there because it could become the centrepiece of that experience. Whereas in the sewers, we weren't able to make it as much of a narrative point and give it the breathing room and reaction time that it deserves, given the tight space.
Damn it.
Oh man. I can't pull out my gun here either. That's... Wow. Yeah.
Oh shit!
For the final section, we eventually opened you out into a wider area as you traverse through such tight spaces leading up to this. So changing the environmental pacing makes it begin to feel like we're coming to the end of Ellie's ordeal. An earlier iteration used the current that we'd shown at the start for a slightly tougher traversal puzzle to conclude the sewers. The ladder was clearly visible from most of the area, but the player was faced with a fast-flowing torrent of water they couldn't cross. If the player attempted to jump into the water, they were not able to swim across the ladder due to the water's speed, but instead they had to traverse the pipe running along the top of the space in order to get across the water.
This is in the original right here.
Right.
This is the first time we get to see stalkers that are embedded into the walls. So this optional room is a nice little early extra that the player gets if they explore. We also use the pickups to lure players over to be close enough to trigger the stalker's attack. And this caused quite a few jump scares with user testers who played our game before its release.
That's kind of creepy. Ew, the bugs. Gross.
Using this pipe was retained in the iteration we shipped with, as it's the last of the extreme methods Ellie has to undergo in order to escape the sewers, and what she will go through in her pursuit of revenge. The last ladder climb is quite lengthy, and although we could have trimmed it down to a shorter climb, we liked how this last segment of the journey built anticipation for whether there was success at the top or not after all you've been through. Ultimately, the ladder exits out into the subway station, which is how it connects in the final game. Ellie then has to find her way to the hospital from here, crossing paths with the scars for the first time.
Yeah, we're into the finished game right now. Oh, I missed a dialogue. Huh. Okay. We got one more lost level to play. Alright, Mr. Jackman. I like playing incomplete stuff. It shows really cool, like, development patterns. So all I have is the rifle. I honestly expected to have the bow.
Where are you?
So the boar hunt was one of the hardest levels for me to work on. It was a huge challenge with the systems that we had, and we kept trying, but it never felt quite right. Originally, the level happened after the Jackson Festival, which also got cut, but before Farm. Once the festival got cut, it became the prologue to Farm. The intended experience is that we jump forward in time after the fight with Abby in the theater. We don't know where Dina is, we likely assume she's dead because she was just bleeding out. Ellie is alone, her hair is short, so maybe this is the future or the present. And she's hunting. Hunting who? Abby still? The gas station was built to highlight the boar's destructiveness. Since it's cramped, the boar feels larger. We also feel trapped with it, though perhaps it's trapped with us. When it charges, it gets to us quickly, so we must be on our toes. This made it more aligned with Ellie's sort of hunting for trouble mindset. Listening became more important, as well as moving around slowly so it didn't hear you. Could you spot it before it saw or heard you? And could you get a shot off quickly enough so you could dodge out of the way? Or is the shot worth the cost after? It feels like a gamble. By the end of the fight, everything would likely be in shambles, the boar would burst through the back, and Ellie would follow it and finally enact revenge.
Okay. I can't see shit. Got you.
Oh.
It's over. Nowhere to run. done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's gonna do it for the last levels. That was a lot of fun. Seeing that kind of stuff where, you know, it's not finished, but they wanted it in, but it just didn't make it. That's still really cool that we got to play it though. That they gave us the chance to. So yeah, that was a ton of fun.